Good afternoon, good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to La Sud de France Arena here in Montpellier in France for this Group K matchup between France and Finland. It's the World Cup Qualifiers European division. As you take a look at some of the results we've had this weekend, Finland, a big 4-point victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina. Meanwhile, France suffering their first defeat of the World Cup Qualifiers in Bulgaria. We'll have a lot more to say about that game as you see the players here being introduced. Currently in Group K, which is a combination of groups E and F of the first round, you see France still up top alongside Czech Republic with 13 points, 6 wins and 1 loss, and Finland in third place with Russia right behind them. So Finland obviously looking to maintain that third spot, and they will have a lot of work to do here in France. You can imagine these French Les Bleus, this country still riding the wave of a World Cup victory in football, soccer, and now the basketball team looking to follow suit. Nicolas Batum, who has taken the captaincy role now that Boris Diaw is retired. Boris Diaw did participate in the first 6 games of these qualifiers. And Nando De Colo, star point guard, who will be counted on for a stronger performance than he had just the other night against Bulgaria, where he was just 0 for 4 from 3, 5 turnovers, 8 points. And, you know, a lot of people have been talking about the leadership void left by Boris Diaw's retirement. Obviously, Nicolas Batum with the captain stepping up, but a lot of people will be looking at De Colo as well. Meanwhile, Finland comes in winning 3 of their last 4 games. Feeling a good wave. No Lauri Markkanen tonight. We'll see if Jamar Wilson plays after missing Thursday night's action with a knee injury. But we will take a brief pause here in the commentary, just a couple of moments, while we have the national anthems for both countries.
Mesdames, Messieurs, veuillez maintenant vous lever pour les hymnes nationaux. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthems. Tout d'abord, l'hymne national de la Finlande. First, the national anthem of Finland.
So that was the Finnish national anthem, and now we'll have the anthem for France.
The national anthem of France.
A very powerful rendition there of La Marseillaise. These French supporters are on their feet, And obviously Marseille just a couple of hours away here from Montpellier. And Montpellier was actually the site of the 2015 Eurobasket. And of course, in that tournament, these two teams featured here, Finland and France, were involved in one of the games of the tournament, an overtime victory for France in that one. But Finland able to get a little bit of payback as they beat France last summer in the 2017 edition of the Eurobasket. Obviously, Finland was hosting in Helsinki, so a big win on each country's home court. But that also gives Finland a lot of confidence going into this matchup against the #3 team in the world. France, obviously one of the powers of not just European basketball, but world basketball. And Finland, definitely a basketball nation on the rise over the last few years. And you can thank Coach Detman for that, as well as his coaching staff, especially involved in the Helsinki Basketball Academy, which so many of these players are products of, including a couple of players still on the team here today. That's Mikael Juntunen and Ville Tavanainen. Those two just 18 years of age, currently playing for the Helsinki Basketball Academy. And Finland will look to really capitalize off their big win against Bosnia and Herzegovina, where Sasu Salin went absolutely off. You see him there, 6 of 8 from 3, 8-11 overall, 5 for 5 from free throw line. Salin finishing with 27 points in that game against Bosnia. And even though the score is 85-81, that's a little bit deceiving, as Finland was up 21 points going into the fourth quarter, clearly let their foot off the gas a little bit there in the final 10 minutes. And Bosnia did cut the lead down to 3, but Finland still able to pull away with a win. Meanwhile, France, in what was what many people call a tragedy in Bulgaria for their first loss of the qualifiers. You know, according to Nicolas Batum and Coach Vincent Collet, it wasn't a situation they underestimated their opponent. They just weren't prepared properly. They weren't ready, is what Batum said in the press conference after the game. And you know, Bulgaria got off to a very, very strong start, scoring 27 points in the first quarter. As we see the referees here for today's game, those are not their names. You have the Italian referee Lorenzo Baldini, the Israeli referee Erez Gurian, and the Latvian referee Gatis Salins. But back to that French-Bulgaria game again. They shot 4 from 22 from the three-point line. They were 10 of 18 from the free throw line and still had a chance to win, as the game was tied at 66 with 5 minutes left. Bulgaria, though, ending on an 8-2 run to finish that game and come out with one of the biggest victories that they've had in their basketball history. Coaches and players discussed after the game that, you know, that it's obviously a major high to beat a team like France, but they have another game here today against the Czech Republic, so they'll look to also build on that victory. But France, again, committing 19 turnovers that game. It felt a little bit sloppy. As you take a look at the Finnish roster here for today's action, you're going to be particularly looking out again for Salin, but also Petteri Koponen, who is back in the starting 5 alongside Matti Nytinen, Mikael Jantunen getting the start again, and Tuukka Koti. Koti, the veteran, usually starts games. He's one of their bigger guys, 6'9". Of course, this Finnish team a little bit deprived of size without Lauri Markkanen in the lineup. They feature 2 6'9" kind of power forwards, no traditional centers. Meanwhile, on the French side, Mustapha Fall, 7'2", who will be coming off the bench today as Mathias Lessor gets the start alongside Charles Kahuri, Nando De Colo, Nicolas Batum, and Andrew Albisi. So Mustapha Fall, who typically, you know, he's been involved in all the qualifying games so far. You see him there, number 93. Came in averaging 8 points per game, but only played 12 minutes against Bulgaria the other night. Paul Lacombe, another player to look out for, number 90, coming off the bench. He's played in every game so far, 23 minutes per game, nearly 10 points, also 2.5 steals per game for Lacombe. So France has a lot of weapons, that's for sure. You see De Colo and Batum, of course, going to be relied upon to really make plays. De Colo more of a scorer. Batum does a little bit of everything for this team. He comes off a game where he had 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Just 5 of 14 shooting, though, for Batum, so he'll look to be a little bit more efficient from the field. So we're live here again in Montpellier. Group K here between France and Finland is underway. RBC collects the first possession for France. De Colo will initiate the offense. Le Sort, you see he's a big fella, number 26, setting big screens. And RBC, more of a passer than a shooter. Here's De Colo. Oh, nice strip away that time from Coty. And Finland gets a steal on their first possession. Newtonen, patient Koponen, number 11, top of the key, the point guard. He'll be back at Bayern Munich this year after playing so many years at Barcelona. And Coty, little fadeaway inside, bounces around, no good. Newtonen hustles for the rebounds, finds Koponen. Solid, doesn't need much room, and too strong in his first three. Batum now pushing the tempo. Oh, nice little crossover. See the help side defense there. BC. And Kahudi finds Lassalle inside. Batum catches shoot on the wing. It's good for the first basket of the night. Nicolas Batum gets France on the board. Janssinen. Here's Koponen getting the screen from Coty. Koponen keeps the defender on his hip and misses a layup. Checks that referee out for a little bit of contact. No whistle, obviously. Here's Albisi. Lassalle posting up hard inside. Albisi doesn't look for him. Obviously dribbling quite a bit in that possession. Batum lobs it to Lassalle. And the big man finds De Colo. He'll spot up from three. And he cannot connect on his first three-point attempt. And we have our first foul of the game as Albisi